Sarah, Glasgow City Academy manager, a few months in now, how does that feel, you're Academy manager here?
Feels like I've been here forever, to be fair. Feels like I've never been away. No, it's been great. Like, the club are really good with me and they kind of leave me to it and let me crack on with my coaches and my volunteers, etc. So it's been really good just getting my feet on the ground and kind of getting my head round everything the first couple of months.
Well, looking ahead shortly, but I need a bit of nostalgia. You spent 4 or 5 years here as a player. You had some great spells, won trophies, you had a big injury setback, came back and continued playing. Big memories of a player, what do you have?
Well, there's a few. We beat FC20 over in Holland when we won 2-0 and I came on and scored the second when it was a wee bit backs to the wall. Standard Liège, last 32, it was my birthday, scored a goal as well then. It's all about goals.
But the best of kicks, it's through to Sarah Crilly on the right hand side. Also with the cross, had the goal, oh, it's in the back of the net with Sarah Crilly! A fabulous finish on her birthday, and it's 3-0 to Glasgow City!
Whilst I was injured, we qualified for the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Huge credit to the club, but there's so many memories. I couldn't pick one specifically, I don't think. The trophies have been great, but more so the girls and things that I've met along the way are still very close friends just now.
Taking modern space to quickly get on with the throw. That's a nice bit of skill away from Brownlee. She keeps hold of it, and there it is, the opening goal, and yet another big goal in recent weeks from Sarah Crilly.
The City were playing quarterfinals, you weren't playing, then you came back in 2016 and you were scoring goals and helping then for 10 in a row, so you must be pleased that you managed to come back on the pitch and create more memories with the club.
Yeah, exactly, because there was a time that I did doubt whether I was actually going to get back to that level, and thankfully due to my teammates, the coaching staff, the staff at Scotland as well, like they all helped me push on, and I actually became the fittest I've probably ever been whilst I was injured, because that's all I could really work on whilst I wasn't allowed to do football. But no, it was great to be able to get back in and help the team and kind of be in that team environment, because you do miss out when you're injured if you're not at training. Like, you miss that team cohesion element of it, so it was really good to get back in and, as you said, create even more memories winning 10 in a row.
Is it, I think everyone kind of mentions it, is it true that once you kind of, the one City always City tag, once you kind of get involved with the club, it never really leaves you the bug?
Yeah, I would say so, and from the ones that I know that have left, still it holds a special place in your heart. I would say you don't understand it until you're in, I wouldn't say, but once you're in, I would say it never leaves you.
Since you left City as a player, you've done a lot behind the scenes in the game and the sport, and also you still played a little bit. Since you left City as a player and you've rejoined City now as head of the academy, what's changed with the club? And well, a lot's changed in terms of the women's game, but in terms of the club, what have you noticed the big things that have changed in the last 5-6 years?
I think it's taken strides forward in the youth game, to be fair. It was always something that wasn't the main focus of the club. Back in the day it was the first team, but now we've got the huge community, over 200 academy players, so that's taken strides forward. We've got the community side, we've got the performance side, so we are a club for all, and our numbers at every age group are great. We're competing at every level, so it's really good to see, and hopefully in future we've got some Glasgow City first team players right now in the youth.
Is it testament that the club and the foundation as well, the charitable side, are doing this, and the academy is getting stronger, as well as trying to keep the first team strong in this professional era now the game's in? Yeah,
I think so. Like, the academy's just growing and growing and growing. Like, I think we've got over 30 odd coaches, as I said, 200 players, plenty of other volunteers, like all your media team, etc. Like, so it's good to see that the club are pushing forward. Like, the first team are doing great and they are the pinnacle, but behind the first team there is 200 great girls, 30-40 volunteers that are doing everything they can for the club, and it's doing it for the badge.
And you've mentioned it a couple of times, that the fact that we kind of broken the 200 players mark, which is remarkable really. It was happened quite quickly as you came in. It almost was like a bit of a mission to try and get players in, and we've got plenty of players, particularly at certain age groups. You must be pleased that players have decided to join the club, and we can cope with that, and we've got the coaches, and we're just growing steadily now over the 200 mark. Yeah,
I think a huge credit to everybody that's gone before me, so Cass, Laura and Jamie, like, they've grown the club and the academy to make it what it was, and thankfully I was the one that took it over the 200. Now, I didn't have too many to get, but right away as soon as I came in we had to create 4 new 14s teams just due to the numbers that we had, so that got us over the line right away with all these new players coming in, and you still get daily requests from girls looking for teams at any age group from 5-year-old or up to 18, so it's really good, and we're always open to anybody, so anybody who has a daughter out there who wants to come and play football, just get in touch and we can make it happen for them.
Absolutely. And as well as the academy players and managing teams and games every weekend, because there's lots going on at particular weekends and training through the week, as well as kind of being part of the foundation, that side of the branch of the club is kind of looking at the community as well. And you've talked about girls in the community if they want to come play for the club. How big is it that Glasgow City is a voice, an independent club, women and girls only club that is out there in the community, likes of in GHA where a lot of academy teams play, or up in the Petershill, North Glasgow area, that they're speaking out to girls to get involved with sport, get involved with football?
I think it's really good, like as you've mentioned, like we're now up in the Glasgow area at Petershill doing our McDonald's programme, which runs Petershill Tuesdays 4 till 5, and then we're actually into the North of Glasgow schools now as a kind of target group, because there are a lot of girls there that maybe don't have access to football clubs because there's very few in that area. So there's so many different projects that the club are running that's kind of allowing more and more girls the opportunity to come and play football, whether it's once a week, twice a week, and then they're kind of filtering into the academy if they're enjoying it. We've had a few from the McDonald's programme that have already came down and joined our under 7s or our under 9s, so there's definitely plenty of opportunities now that the club have created through the foundation, and it's something that I'm really keen to push on with and have more and more projects so we can provide these opportunities for the girls who might not have access to them as easily as others.
You touched on the work done previously, and since in the last year or so you've had likes of Caroline Stewart come on board within the foundation, Claire Shine, balance the first team with our community projects and community work as well. Plus, the foundation board. There's a number of people now that are in the academy and the foundation, which is a different world from when you're talking about a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I think when I played, it was just Cass and Laura. I think there might have been a board behind it that I didn't know about as a player, but now the fact that we have the club separately and their board, etc., the foundation separately, we've got Claire coming on through Comms World, getting into schools with other first team players and doing question and answers, telling their story. Like, it's great to see. It just feels like, to me, Glasgow City is now everywhere. Like, whereas before it was just that main focus of first team, whereas any football that's mentioned, it's Glasgow City, whether it being, they were in my school, or they were delivering Disney, they were delivering McDonald's, whatever it may be. We're everywhere, and it's really good to see, and I can't thank the board enough for the support that they've actually given myself since I came in to allow us to do these projects and send teams to, for example, the 19s are going to the Foyle Cup in July, and the board have allowed us to do that, which is really good and something I'm keen to pursue for other teams as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As well as that, touched on the academy teams, touched on the community, but it kind of fuses together the fact that with changes growing in the professional era in the first team, there's positive changes at the youth level with the kind of performance pathway, 14s, 16s, 18s that's going to be coming shortly. Glasgow City haven't shied away from the community aspect and the recreational aspect of girls wanting girls to play football, and we will have a pathway going through to first team, but if girls just want to play football and keep athletically fit, or just keep in touch with friends, we've not turned girls away. Which, how big is that we've got the two kind of arms there in our academy?
I think it's great to have the two arms, because as you said, there will be girls that want to come down, they want to compete, they want to be your future stars, your Glasgow City players, your Scottish internationals, or wherever they may be from. But you do have girls, especially your kind of 16, 17 year olds, that just want to come down, have a bit of football with their friends, and the fact that we're able to provide that opportunity twice a week, 3 times a week for these girls is great. We've got a good group of coaches in leading them as well, and it just kind of gives them that physical activity that they need that at that age. If it keeps them off the streets, great, like they're more than welcome to come down. So I'm always keen to push for more and more numbers on our community side and give girls opportunities, as we said.
And again, just if you were 10, 12, 14 years ago, there wasn't anything like that,
No.
You and for a lot of these girls coming through, you played, the best club in Scotland at the time. You won medals. You were a Scotland international. You kind of reached your glass ceiling of where you could go. Whereas now, girls can actually come to the pathway and actually go one step further and actually paid professional footballers potentially.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I was playing back in my day, I would say there were a few that were able to go professional, but now like some of the girls asked this week, like, are the girls full time at Glasgow City? And it's amazing to be able to say yes, this is their job. Like, they're full time professional footballers in Scotland. Whereas 10 years ago, I think there was maybe one, if that. I think it might have been Hayley if she was still here 10 years ago. But no, it's great. Like, the girls are, whether it be at Glasgow City or another team in Scotland, or if it's abroad, like, there are now multiple opportunities for these young girls that weren't quite there, and that's credit to everybody, SWF, Scottish FA, UEFA, FIFA, everybody that's kind of forcing women's football forward, which is really good to see.
With Glasgow City in the foundation and your role within the academy, you've been here for a few months, we've already had some positives. What kind of ideas and plans would you like to implement or see or do in the coming maybe weeks, months or beyond?
I mean, selfishly, I'd like to start an over 30s team just so that I can get my boots back on and play. Just a wee recreational team, so if anybody's looking, you know where we are. And there's just a few different teams that I've got some ideas that I want to do. I'm not going to reveal any of my secrets just now, but there's certainly some things in the pipeline, starting more projects, etc., and pushing on our mini kickers and things like that. So there's a lot going to be coming in the next few months, I think.